game that you were, how about that move?
Anthony Edwards put that one on the highlight reel with all the rest. That was
Edwards on the steal. Edwards, oh, what a move to the rack!
This year, but it's kind of changing now. Rudy's getting out there.
Edwards, an open look coming off the screen, and Anthony Edwards hits the catch and shoot.
Put in the moves. They won't have one in case this game's close and they need one late. Oh, beautiful spin.
Up the wing, catches, ISO situation.
Offensively, 1 for 6 so far. Edwards, crossover, spinning, tough fade, pure.
This is a 10 out of 10 in degree of difficulty. I mean, taking on defenders, spin move, fade away.
Imagine a young boy from Atlanta, Georgia, facing challenges that could break even the strongest spirit. That boy is Anthony Edwards, a rising star in the NBA who overcame adversity to become one of basketball's brightest lights. His story is not just about talent, it's about perseverance, determination, and turning pain into purpose. Born on the 5th of August, 2001, Anthony Edwards grew up in a humble household. Raised primarily by his mother, Yvette Edwards, and his grandmother, he learned the values of hard work and family from a young age. Although his father was largely absent during his upbringing, he left Anthony with something that would define him in the future, a nickname, Ant-Man. At first, the nickname seemed like a casual term of endearment, but as Anthony grew older, it took on a deeper meaning. Much like the superhero, Ant-Man symbolized resilience, adaptability, and an unshakable inner strength. Interestingly, basketball wasn't Anthony's first love. He initially excelled in football, playing as a running back for the Atlanta Vikings. With unwavering support from his mother and grandmother, he appeared destined for greatness in the sport. But life had other plans. At the age of 14, a severe ankle injury sidelined Anthony, forcing him to reevaluate his path. During this downtime, he found himself captivated while watching his older brother play basketball. Something clicked inside him. It was as if he had discovered his true call. Fueled by a newfound passion, Anthony picked up a basketball and never looked back. The journey wasn't easy. Despite being shorter than many of his peers at the time, Anthony used his athleticism and relentless work ethic to stand out. On the courts of Atlanta, he was a relentless competitor, training tirelessly to refine his shot, his handles, and his overall game. Anthony's raw talent was undeniable, and his potential soon became impossible to ignore. Playing for the Atlanta Express, a local basketball team, he started attracting the attention of scouts and coaches. However, his life took a heartbreaking turn that tested his resolve like never before. Within a matter of months, Anthony lost both his mother and grandmother to cancer. At just 15 years old, he was devastated. Most would have crumbled under the weight of such grief, but Anthony found strength in his loss. "Everything I do is for them," he would later say. Every shot, every play, and every victory became a tribute to their memory. Determined to honor them, Anthony threw himself into basketball. At Terrell Academy, he quickly became a standout player before transferring to Holy Spirit Prep, where his game reached new heights. His speed, athleticism, and relentless drive made him a sensation on the high school basketball scene. Anthony Edwards' rise through the high school basketball ranks was nothing short of spectacular. At Holy Spirit Prep, he emerged as a star, averaging over 25 points per game and showcasing an unmatched combination of speed, strength, and precision. Coaches and scouts marveled at his natural ability, and it was clear he was destined for something extraordinary. As one of the top prospects in the nation, Anthony received offers from prestigious college programs, including Kentucky and North Carolina. The attention could have been overwhelming for any teenager, but Anthony remained grounded. His decision would surprise many. Instead of choosing a powerhouse program, he opted to play for the Georgia Bulldogs. "I wanted my family to see me play," he said, emphasizing the importance of staying close to his roots in Atlanta. It wasn't about chasing fame, it was about staying connected to the people who meant the most. In his lone season at the University of Georgia, Anthony quickly proved he belonged on the national stage. From his first game, he made it clear that he was not just a college athlete, he was a future averaging 19.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 2.8 assists per game. He dominated the competition with a blend of physicality and finesse that few could match. One unforgettable performance came against Michigan State, where Anthony erupted for 33 points in a single half. That kind of brilliance became a hallmark of his season, cementing his reputation as one of the top players in the country. Analysts called him the complete package, praising his scoring ability, athleticism, and court vision. But Anthony's success on the court was about more than just talent. His dedication to honoring his late mother and grandmother remained at the heart of his journey. Before every game, he looked to the sky, silently dedicating his performance to them. That emotional connection drove him to give his all, no matter the circumstance. By the end of the college season, Anthony was ready for the next step. Declaring for the NBA draft was an easy decision. He had nothing left to prove at the college level. The 2020 NBA draft, held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic, marked a historic moment in Anthony's life. He entered the draft as one of the most highly anticipated prospects, alongside players like James Wiseman and LaMelo Ball. The stakes were high, and the basketball world eagerly awaited the announcement of the first overall. When the Minnesota Timberwolves selected Anthony Edwards as the #1 pick, it was a moment of triumph. Surrounded by his family, Anthony could barely contain his emotion as his dream became reality. From the streets of Atlanta to the grand stage of the NBA, he had overcome every obstacle to reach this. "This is just the beginning," Anthony said after his selection. His words reflected a quiet confidence and a determination to prove himself on the court. The Timberwolves, meanwhile, had placed their hopes on a young man who was ready to lead a new era for the franchise. Being selected as the #1 pick in the NBA draft is a dream come true for many, but it also comes with immense pressure. Anthony Edwards understood the weight of expectations placed on his shoulders when the Minnesota Timberwolves chose him to lead their franchise. This wasn't just about being talented. It was about reviving a team that had struggled to find sustained success since the days of Kevin Garnett. Minnesota's history in the NBA was filled with ups and downs. The franchise had star players like Garnett and, more recently, Karl Anthony Towns. But consistent playoff appearances and meaningful runs were rare. Edwards entered a team that was hungry for change, and it didn't take long for him to make his presence felt. In his rookie season, Anthony Edwards brought excitement and energy to a team that had desperately needed a spark. While the Timberwolves struggled overall, Edwards emerged as a bright spot. His scoring ability, fearless drives to the basket, and natural charisma quickly won over the fans. He didn't just play basketball, he brought a sense of fun and unpredictability to the court. One game in particular showcased Edwards' electrifying potential. Against the Toronto Raptors, he delivered one of the most iconic moments of his rookie year, a thunderous dunk over Yuta Watanabe that immediately went viral. The clip was replayed countless times on sports networks, shared across social media, and became a defining moment of his young career. "That dunk was special," Edwards admitted. "But I am not here just to make highlights. I am here to help my team win." His rookie numbers were equally impressive. Anthony averaged 19.3 points per game, ranking among the best first-year players in the league. He added 4.7 rebounds and 2.9 assists to his stat line, showing his ability to contribute in multiple ways. But what truly set him apart was his confidence. Whether it was taking a game-winning shot or going head-to-head with seasoned NBA veterans, Edwards never backed down. Despite finishing second in the Rookie of the Year race behind LaMelo Ball, Edwards had already established himself as a cornerstone for the Timberwolves. "This is just the beginning," he said at the end of the season. His determination to improve was evident, and his partnership with Karl Anthony Towns hinted at a brighter future for Minnesota. As the 2021 to 2022 season began, Anthony Edwards took another leap forward. Now a sophomore, he was no longer just a promising rookie, he was a rising star ready to shoulder more responsibility. With Towns facing injuries and inconsistent team performance, Edwards stepped up as a leader. His scoring improved significantly, and his performances became more consistent, proving that he could handle the pressure of being a go-to player. One of the standout moments of the season came against the Golden State Warriors, where Anthony scored a career-high 48 points. The performance was nothing short of spectacular, filled with deep three-pointers, explosive drives, and a sense of composure beyond his years. "It's just basketball," Edwards said humbly after the game. "I've been doing this my whole life." Anthony's growth wasn't just about his stats, it was about his presence. He had an infectious personality that resonated with fans and teammates alike. Whether he was cracking jokes in interviews or offering encouragement to his teammates, Edwards became the emotional heartbeat of the Timberwolves. Minnesota's season culminated in a spot in the play-in tournament, where they faced the New Orleans Pelicans for a chance to make the playoffs. With the pressure on, Edwards delivered once again. He scored 26 points, leading the Timberwolves to a hard-fought victory and securing their place in the postseason. In the first round, the Timberwolves faced the Memphis Grizzlies, led by another young superstar, Ja Morant. The series was a battle of youth, athleticism, and raw talent. Anthony embraced the challenge, averaging 25 points per game and showing he could rise to the occasion when it mattered most. In Game 1, he erupted for 36 points, making a bold statement that he wasn't just there to participate, he was there to compete. Although the Timberwolves ultimately lost the series in 6 games, it was clear that Anthony Edwards had arrived. He wasn't just a flashy player or a supporting act. He was a legitimate star capable of carrying his team on the NBA's biggest stage. The series against Memphis marked a turning point in Edwards' career. It proved to him, his teammates, and the league that he was more than ready to take on the role of a franchise leader. The future was bright for Anthony and the Timberwolves, and the journey was just beginning. The 2022-2023 season marked a significant shift in Anthony Edwards' career and the trajectory of the Minnesota Timberwolves. With just 2 years in the league, Edwards had already established himself as one of the most electrifying young players in the NBA. But this season was different. They wasn't just expected to score points or make highlight plays. Anthony was now stepping into the role of a leader. The Timberwolves made a bold move during the offseason by acquiring Rudy Gobert, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. The idea was to pair Gobert's defensive prowess with Anthony's offensive firepower and Karl Anthony Towns' all-around game. It was a high-stakes gamble aimed at transforming Minnesota into a serious contender. However, things didn't go as planned. Injuries, lack of team chemistry, and inconsistent performances plagued the Timberwolves throughout the season. Despite lofty expectations, they finished 8th in the Western Conference with a record of 42-40. The Gobert trade, which had cost the Timberwolves several valuable assets, was widely criticized as a misstep. Yet amidst the turmoil, one player stood tall: Anthony Edwards. He was the silver lining in an otherwise disappointing season. Anthony elevated his game, averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, career highs across the board. His ability to dominate offensively and make key defensive plays highlighted his growth as a complete player. One of the defining moments of the season came when Anthony scored 51 points in a game against the Washington Wizards. It wasn't just the sheer number of points that impressed, it was how he did it. He showcased his full offensive arsenal, from deep three-pointers to explosive drives to the rim, leaving fans and analysts in awe. Another major milestone was his selection to the NBA All-Star Game. At just 21 years old, Anthony was officially recognized as one of the league's brightest stars. For him, it was a validation of his hard work and a stepping stone to greater achievements. "This is just the beginning," he said, flashing his trademark confidence. As the season progressed, Anthony's leadership became increasingly evident. In a team that often struggled to find cohesion, he emerged as the glue holding everything together. When Gobert faced criticism for his inconsistent performances, Anthony was the first to defend his teammate, encouraging him to keep pushing. When Towns returned from injury, Edwards welcomed him back with open arms, emphasizing the importance of team unity. The Timberwolves' journey to the playoffs wasn't easy. They had to fight their way through the play-in tournament, facing the New Orleans Pelicans in a do-or-die game. Once again, Anthony rose to the occasion, scoring 26 points and leading Minnesota to a crucial victory. With their playoff spot secured, the Timberwolves were set to face the Denver Nuggets, the top seed in the Western Conference. The odds were stacked against them. The Nuggets, led by two-time MVP Nikola Jokic, were a powerhouse team with championship aspirations. Most experts predicted a quick exit for Minnesota. But Anthony Edwards had other plans. In the first game of the series, he dropped 36 points, sending a clear message. He wasn't intimidated by the moment. Over the next 2 games, he raised his level even further, scoring 41 and 34 points, respectively. His performances were a testament to his relentless drive and refusal to back down, even against the league's best. Although the Timberwolves eventually lost the series, Anthony's efforts didn't go unnoticed. Jokic himself praised Edwards, calling him one of the toughest competitors we faced all year. That level of respect from a player of Jokic's caliber spoke volumes about Anthony's impact. This series against Denver wasn't just a stepping stone, it was a declaration. Anthony Edwards had proven he could compete with the best, even under the brightest lights. For Timberwolves fans, it was a glimpse of what the future could hold. For Anthony, it was confirmation that his place among the NBA's elite was well within reach.